In today's video, I am going to be sharing my most worn fragrances of 2023. So if you want to find out more, then please keep on watching. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if it's the first time you are joining. My name is Hayley and I review fragrances. Thank you so much for joining. As already mentioned in the intro, today's video is going to be all about my most worn fragrances of 2023. Now, I have already filmed one of these videos this year. However, we are now at the end of 2023, so I thought it would be fun to share a roundup of what fragrances I wore the most this year. And before we get started on the content, I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe to my channel. It really helps my channel out and I would love to have you as part of this amazing community. So now that's out of the way, let's jump into the first fragrance. First up is Peregrina by Thameen. And you probably aren't going to be surprised at any of these fragrances in this list if you watch my channel regularly. And Peregrina is somewhat of a signature scent for me. I don't have a signature scent as such, but Peregrina is definitely one that I reach for very, very often. This is such an easy fragrance to wear. It's sweet. I would say it's quite feminine. It's got this caramel note. There's a pink rose. I perceive it to be a pink rose anyway, which almost smells crystallized. It's a little bit musky, and on my skin, this one just blossoms. When I don't know what to wear, this is definitely one of the fragrances that I will reach for first. It definitely makes me feel really happy, and it will be a forever love in my collection. This one is such a pretty fragrance in my opinion. It would make a perfect signature scent. It's nothing groundbreaking or unique as such, but it's one of those fragrances that just smells incredible on the skin. I absolutely adore it and I will forever repurchase this one. It is a floral, but I wouldn't say the rose is super dominant. You definitely get a lot of that sweetness. You get that caramel note, but it's not sticky and dense and edible. There's a light musk throughout here, and I just find Peregrina to be the perfect everyday scent. It does feel special too though. I would wear this on a date night, but yeah, this is definitely in my most worn fragrances of 2023, without a doubt. Another fragrance that you will probably not be surprised to see. I love One Umbrella for Two by Floraiku. It feels very me when I wear this one. It is such a fun, lively, juicy, sweet, tart, kind of sour blueberry blackcurrant fragrance. It does smell a little bit edible. This kind of treads the gourmand territory in my opinion, but I do think this is more of a fruity fragrance. There's a little bit of rice in here. There's also some tea, and that kind of tapers down the sweetness. I just love wearing One Umbrella for Two. It's one of those fragrances that I find really difficult to explain why I love it so much, but every single time I wear it, I fall in love with it again and again. It is super sweet. I've reviewed this one so many times on my channel and I've described it as smelling like a pie in the oven. It's not got a pastry accord. You're not getting that kind of buttery pastry, but what you do get is some kind of dark berry mix being baked and cooked down into a very sweet syrup. I get sweet, syrupy berries in this composition. Like I already said, you've also got the rice, and I adore One Umbrella for Two. If you do want to see more reviews of this one, you can search on my channel because I talk about this one so much. But yeah, this is such a special fragrance in my collection, and this is another one that I will forever repurchase. And of course, I've worn this so much in 2023. Next up is Musk Therapy by Initio. I wonder how predictable my list is going to be. Let me know down in the comments if you can guess some of my most worn fragrances in 2023. But those of you that do watch my channel often, you will know that I absolutely love Musk Therapy by Initio. Another one that is the closest thing I have to a signature scent. This is the one I definitely reach for the most in my collection. It is such an easy reach. Now, this isn't a super strong, powerful in-your-face fragrance. It's not a fragrance that's necessarily going to get you noticed. or necessarily turn heads, although I would turn my head if someone was wearing Musk Therapy. This is a fluffy musk, so it's a white musk, but it's not too dense and heavy. And there is a berry note in the opening, which makes this quite juicy. I wouldn't say this is a fruity fragrance. This is a true soft, powdery white musk, and it just feels very cozy and comforting every time I wear this one. It's one of those fragrances where I can wear it to any occasion and it's not going to offend anyone. You kind of smell clean out of the shower, but a little bit more complex. It's not a freshie, it's not citrusy. Yeah, I love Musk Therapy so much. It took me a while to fall in love with this one. I've told this story so many times, but I tried it in, I believe, Selfridges in London. I didn't like it on the paper test strip, didn't think much more about it. And then I tried it again another time, sprayed it on the skin, and that is when I fell in love with it. Musk fragrances need to be experienced on the skin, and it might be a more simple fragrance, but it just works for me, hence why it's in my most worn fragrances of 2023. Next up is Sol de Janeiro Cheriosa 40, and this is a body mist, but I have used this bottle up. There's a tiny little bit in the bottle. I have already repurchased a backup of this one, and this is perfect because it's a body mist that actually smells like perfume, and it complements some of my other favorite fragrances within my collection. I could wear this with all of the fragrances that I just mentioned. So Peregrina, Musk Therapy, One Umbrella for Two. This one pairs beautifully with Dama Bianca because they kind of smell a little bit similar. This one also smells a teeny bit similar to the Seven Virtues Vanilla Woods, and I absolutely adore it. Actually, this smells a bit similar to something else in this list, and it is listed as being a black, amber, plum, and vanilla woods fragrance, and it's definitely very vanillic. I get that plummy smell as well, a little bit caramelized. And to me, this just smells like perfume. I think this is such a fantastic body mist. It is £20 and it just makes the perfect layering combination that will help my fragrance last even longer. And I do also wear this one fresh out of the shower. And another thing that I also have is the matching shower gel, which I absolutely adore. It's incredible. I also have the body cream and the deodorant. I'm obsessed with this line. It is Cheriosa 40. Please do let me know if you've tried it and what you think about it, but such an underrated mist from the Sol de Janeiro collection. I prefer this over the original spray, which I believe is called number 62. But yeah, Cheriosa 40 is incredible in my opinion. Okay, so I might as well lead on to a perfume that probably inspired Cheriosa 40, or at least it smells similar to Cheriosa 40, and it is none other than Guerlain's Spirituese de Vanille, and this is one of my favorite vanillas in my whole collection. I absolutely adore this vanilla, and this is another fragrance in this list that isn't necessarily a beast mode. It's not necessarily the loudest vanilla fragrance in my collection, but there is something so special about this composition. It is a very elegant vanilla, which is always the case with Guerlain vanillas in my opinion. They know how to do a good vanilla fragrance, and I didn't purchase this one for the longest time because it's expensive. There's no way around it, but I'm so glad I took the plunge because it is definitely one of my favorite vanilla fragrances in my collection. It smells a little bit similar to Cheriosa 40, or I should say Cheriosa 40 smells a little bit similar, minus that kind of caramelized plum punch, but the vanilla is very similar in the two. It's very soft, it's very classy, as I've already mentioned. It smells like a natural vanilla bean. It's not super gourmand, it's not super thick and cloying, and for that reason I will always have this one in my collection. The price does hurt a lot, but I will repurchase this one. I think it's a phenomenal scent, and I try not to wear it too much because of the price point, which I know is silly. We should wear our fragrances, but it will hurt to repurchase this one. So I definitely would have used more of this if I wasn't so concerned about the price, but that being said, it's so special and definitely one of my most worn fragrances of 2023. Let's switch up the category a little bit, and the next fragrance is from Une Nuit Nomade, and it is Jardins de Misfah. This is probably one of the most talked about fragrances on my channel. I know I talk about this one a lot, but I truly adore this scent profile. Jardins de Misfah is the most gorgeous, sticky, sweet dates with a jammy rose. It's got some saffron in here, there's some almonds, and it does have that Middle Eastern vibe to it. This one just radiates off of my skin. It gets me so many compliments, and I just feel like it's a phenomenal fragrance. I know many of you have tried this one now, but if you have never tried Une Nuit Nomade, you should definitely get their Discovery set. It's one of the best on the market in my opinion. It's a niche brand at a more affordable price point, and what I love is they sell different sized formats. So if the 100 ml might be a little bit too expensive for you, even though this is a more affordable niche house, you can buy different size formats too. Back to Jardins de Misfah, I feel like this is such a sexy head-turning fragrance. I will again forever repurchase this one. I do have a backup bottle now, so I can actually use this one a little bit more. But yeah, Jardins de Misfah is definitely in my most worn fragrances of 2023. Next up is Stephane Humbert Lucas Soleil de Jeddah Mango Kiss. Now, I haven't worn this one in the last couple of months because to me, I find this to be better suited to the spring and the summer. You could definitely wear it this time of year because it's a very strong scent profile, and this one is a beast mode fragrance. And if you love mango and you have not tried Mango Kiss, I would highly recommend doing so, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's a safe blind buy. It is a lot more complex. It definitely has that kind of unique profile to it, very niche smelling in my opinion, but I find this one super addictive. It has a chamomile note in here, which I really enjoy. It also has a very woody dry down. It's intense, it's sexy, it's complex, and it's definitely up there with one of my favorite ever mango fragrances, if not my favorite. It is so unique. Nothing compares to this in my opinion. I do love God of Fire. I think God of Fire is absolutely incredible too. In terms of being unique, this one just definitely does it for me. It's a lot more creamy than God of Fire. I would say God of Fire is quite sharp. It has a ginger note in there. It's quite powerful and it's almost quite sour. And I mean sour in a good way. Whereas this one is definitely more of a creamy mango smoothie with a twist, with those deep Middle Eastern vibes to it in the base. Definitely get a sample of this one if you love your mango fragrances. But I was wearing this one so much the first half of the year, and so many of my friends and family love this too. My best friend absolutely adores it. My husband absolutely adores it. And this is another one that I will forever repurchase in my collection. And last, but by no means least, we have Kilian I Don't Need a Prince by My Side to Be a Princess. And this is another fragrance that's such an easy reach. It's fluffy, it's powdery, it's got marshmallow, it's got vanilla, there's a little bit of green tea, there's a bit of bite in there, I believe there's ginger. And it's a very effortless fragrance that smells quite feminine in my opinion. It's definitely sweet. It isn't a beast mode. This is one of the more affordable Kilian fragrances. In the UK, this costs £100 retail versus something like Love Don't Be Shy, which I believe is more like 190. So it's a little bit more affordable. It's not a beast mode, but I have to say I absolutely adore Princess. It's one of those fragrances that I slept on for the longest time, and I do kick myself, but I'm glad to have it now. And I feel like this is somewhat of a signature scent. It's one of those easy reaches where you know it's not going to offend anyone. It's not overly sweet, so it's not going to become cloying. People are going to think you smell good. It gets compliments, and yeah, I just absolutely love Princess. In terms of longevity, it is about 6 to 7 hours on me. I definitely always spray my clothing with this one, but that being said, I love the scent profile so much. There's a lot of fragrances in this kind of similar type of scent profile, but this is the one that I find to be the easiest wearing personally. And I've also worn it a lot because of this reason. So the last fragrance that is my most worn for 2023 is I Don't Need a Prince by My Side to Be a Princess. Now, of course, there were lots of other fragrances that I have worn lots this year. I could give you some honorable mentions such as Giardini di Toscana Bianco Latte, but I haven't had that one long. Even though I've worn it a lot, I haven't had that one long in my collection. And things like Mallow and Gianni by Soradora. But these are the ones that throughout the year I've definitely worn the most. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I would love to know what your most worn fragrances of 2023 have been, and if it correlates to them being your favorite fragrances within your collection. Because I also have fragrances in my collection that would be my top 10 for life, my holy grails, and they don't necessarily all feature in this list. Some of these are quite easy going, easy reaches. That being said, some of these are definitely my holy grail fragrances too. Anyway, I am going to stop rambling. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to also see you in a future video to come. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have a wonderful day. Thank you and goodbye.